Welcome everybody to a weekly message from Jesus. We come to you every week to bring you his words of faith and love. So without any delay, let us hear the message for this week. Hello everyone. Once again I am back to tell you how you can live a more fulfilling and loving life. Every week I tell you how simple it is. I tell you that you need to show love to others. I tell you that you need to drive the hatred from your hearts. I tell you not to show hatred or anger towards others. And if you do all of these things, your life will be much more happy, it'll be more fulfilling, and when you return home, I can assure you that your judgment will be much easier, and yet you will be far happier than if you lead a life of greed and power and hurting others. Today, I once again want to speak to you about love. Love is the most important thing. When I walked the earth, I spoke of love. The people to whom I spoke were basically uneducated, they were poor, they were having trouble feeding their families. It was a very difficult time in those days. The Romans controlled Judea, and they were very powerful. Every time anyone questioned their powers or their abilities, they were brutally repressed. We had to rely upon them for government, but it was also very difficult for them to assure the Jewish population that they would be treated peacefully and safely. The Jewish population in those days was controlled by very powerful individuals. The church was basically allowed to control Judea. It was the Romans who supported the Jewish religious figures that were in charge, and that was the combination that we saw as we grew up and as we tried to live our lives in Judea. In those days, the Romans were very powerful. If you tried to discuss something contrary to their beliefs, it was not uncommon for them to end your life in the most difficult fashion. Today, you have a government that is very powerful. In many ways, it is similar to the Roman government. They are trying to control all that you do, all that you know, and all that you can learn. It is up to each individual to exert their individual freedoms and to attempt to learn as they please, to practice their religions as they please, and to have the ability to speak. It will soon be your 4th of July. I helped lead your founding fathers in the principles that they used to found your nation. I wanted them to assure freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, and all of the basic things that would bring happiness to individuals. They succeeded in doing that many years ago, and it was very dangerous for what they did. When they signed the Declaration of Independence, they each knew that if they lost the war for independence, that they had signed their death warrants. The British were also quite unforgiving in those days. They were much like the Romans in my days. But many brave individuals pursued paths that would bring freedom for everybody. Today, you live in a country that is the most free of any major country on your planet. There are those that are trying to introduce other systems of government. Socialism has never worked and never will work. Sadly, when people are given items or money, they choose to accept it and then to not do their share of work. If individuals do not work and try to support their families, there's really no incentive for them to do better. If there's no incentive for them to do better, then it is logical that they will not do what is needed to pursue strong family ties. They will sit back and let others attempt to do the work. Well, the ones that are attempting to do the work will look at the ones that are not, and they're saying, why should I do this? So, if you think about it, you will realize that the principles that I gave your founding fathers are the ones that need to be followed if humans are going to advance in your country. Many countries today are attempting to either use the socialist or communist model of government. Once again, millions of people have died trying to follow those types of government through the years. There is no way that your country can prosper in the long run if they do not follow the principles that I gave to your founding fathers. I know that it is very difficult. I know that technology has given you ideas. The humans are so advanced that whatever the plan they come up with will be the proper one. As I tell you many times, there are other civilizations in the galaxy that are incredibly more advanced than you humans. As you advance in your knowledge, you will soon learn just how much information is truly available out there. I've tried to have individuals from other cultures guide humans through the years. You can see evidence of interaction of individuals from other planets if you take time to look for them. I want you to know this. The recipe or formula for advancement is incredibly simple. Respect the rights of others. Show love towards others. Show that you care. Kindness is very important. In the other great cultures, people get along. They may not always like each other, but they have learned to get along and to respect one another. Today, you are facing many problems in your inner cities. You have allowed opportunities to go to other places, and those that cannot leave the inner cities are faced with very difficult decisions. Sometimes they turn to drugs, violence. You see that individuals cannot support the families. You're seeing women attempting to raise children on their own, and you are seeing a high increase in violence, drug use, and many other things that will destroy the culture in the inner cities. You need to help these people. Those of you with great wealth need to try to figure out how you can work with local governments and bring opportunity to these people. The inner cities, the degeneration of the inner cities, can be a cancer that will pull your country down and will not allow it to prosper and continue in leadership of the world. There are other countries out there that are becoming very strong. The United States is being challenged for world leadership. There is no doubt that the United States is a pillar of democracy and that it does much to help others throughout the world. What you must understand is that the United States must continue in that position. As you celebrate your 4th of July, think about what you can do to make your nation stronger. Do not think about what you can do to weaken it. Do not believe that your country can exist without a strong police force. There is much evil in this world, and there are those peacemakers that have to control that evil. You are naive to think that a culture can exist without somebody enforcing the rules. There are always individuals that will break the rules. They think that they can do what they wish because they may be larger, they may be stronger, or they may possess weapons. Well, it is only the peacemakers that can control this. All things must come together. You must have a loving government that cares about the people. You must have a police force or peacemakers that understand the people and care about them as well. There are always abuses. There are abuses in your government, and there are abuses in those individuals that have become peacemakers. Sort them out. Get rid of them. Have only people remaining that care, that show love and kindness to others. As long as you have individuals in government or in your police forces that care more about their own egos and power than they do about the people, it will be very difficult for your country to find peace. I know that many of you think that the worst is behind your country. I am here to tell you that the internal problems that you are facing can be greater than any war that you've ever fought. There are those within your country that want to tear it down. You must ignore those folks. You must do what is needed to keep your country strong. Have faith when I tell you that when you celebrate the 4th of July, you are celebrating the greatest event in the history of your country. Today, I want you to focus on what you need to make your country stronger. You need strong physical planning. You need strong borders. While I am not telling you that individuals should not be allowed to come into your country, you must control. Every country must control who enters and who receives the benefits of their country. The world is heavily populated, and there are many countries that are struggling. Many countries are struggling because they attempted socialism. Look at Venezuela. They are wonderful people down there, and they are in terrible shape. So today I want you to focus on each of your countries. While I refer to the United States, it is only because of the 4th of July. There are many, many great countries. There are too many good countries for me to mention. There is Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany. There are many, many good countries out there. But there are none that can take the leadership that the United States is capable of doing. So, on this weekend when you celebrate the date on which your country declared its independence, I want you to think of many things. Think of what you can do to help others, and think of what you can do to make your country, your citizens, your states, a better place to live. All of this ties into returning to my teachings. My simple teachings can be applied to all of the governments of the world, and it is only at that time that all of your individual states or countries will get along. So, once again, I'm going to leave you. My message was a little different tonight. I want you to focus on what you can do to make those around you, the governing bodies around you, and all of those that display political power. I want you to think of how you can make them better. Send people to you to represent you that believe in me. If they do not believe in me, they will not succeed. It is that simple. So once again, I bless all of you that are listening. I want you to go forth. I want you to show kindness and love to all. And I want you to form governments that follow that advice as well. I will have another message for you next week. So goodbye. Celebrate the founding of the greatest country I ever created, and all will be well. Goodbye. Thank you, Father. Once again, a message that people should understand and attempt to follow. If you follow his words, all will be better. I can tell you that when you do not have hatred in your heart, you will find great comfort. Know that there is comfort in the truth of his words. So I'm going to also say goodbye to you. We will have another message for you next week.